Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is the Football Brotherhood. I'm joined by my brother Christian. Christian, how are we, mate?
Not too bad, buddy. Yeah, all good, mate. I'm looking forward to getting into this. Should be pretty funny, to be fair.
Oh well, it's work experience is back in it for United. Another just one lurching from one plan to another that's not a plan. Now we've just got the ex-Middlesbrough manager that's now going to come in and save the season. As opposed to the ex-Besiktas manager. Apparently, the great Man United, in a bit of a crisis, are just juggling between ex-Besiktas coach, who got sacked for failing to get into Europe. When I say get into Europe, I mean through the qualifier. And do you know what, Ollie as well, Besiktas, they didn't get through the conference qualifier either, because they dropped into that, and the sacked Borough coach. And guess where Borough are now, after Carrick getting sacked? Second.
Yeah,
he got sacked when they were 10th. And you know what? People go, oh, did they invest? No, they didn't. They made a profit in the summer. So great. The failed Borough manager is taking over Manchester United, Christian. I mean, you're a City fan. I can't even imagine sitting there watching Uwe Rosler take over from Pep Guardiola. But go on, hit me with your thoughts on this.
I do not understand what United are doing anymore. It's not going around in circles. They're regressing. Each new decision is worse than the previous one. Michael Carrick, like you just said, Alex, he was sacked from a championship club. Now, the once great Manchester United then think, that'll do till the end of the season. I don't know, excuse me, I don't know who are making these decisions and why anybody is accepting of it, because I don't see, like, of course, I know you're not happy with it, but I don't see the general uproar. How is this acceptable? And how is these decisions even taking place, Alex?
Because they're brainwashed, that's why. And I even found it where I was on, I went on a friend of ours channel, David Speaks Football, shout out David, on Saturday. And David was talking about Luis Enrique, and we were talking about these types of coaches. And you know, the mad thing is, I'm not saying like that's the right guy to be talking about. But you know what? Why does my mate David talking about Luis Enrique, why is that more of a alarm bell than me and you talking about Carrick or Goldbridge talking about Ollie? Why are those conversations? We had one, Pochettino, Southgate, Carrick, Ollie. But the guy who's talking about Luis Enrique, people will lose their shit over that. Oh, the great Man United, you just said it perfectly. They forget Enrique. Oh, let's talk about the ex-Middlesbrough manager. Middlesbrough are second in the Championship. They could get promoted months after sacking him after coming 10th. Look, Carrick was a fantastic player. Unfortunately, I don't know if this is a problem at Manchester United, that we can't accept that our legends have never gone on to be good managers. The list is endless, not one of them.
You're going through the full squad, Alex. You are going through. You're going to have a full... I know. Shout out David. Yeah, I thought that was a funny graphic.
Starting 11.
It's a disgrace. Alex, just touching back on that. Where obviously we had a conversation about Pochettino, Southgate, and some other people. And the reason we're speaking on that, by the way, they're nothing in the realms of, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Michael Carrick. They still would be huge upgrades on them characters. But the reason that we were talking on them is because we know Man United. And realistically, for where they're at, Luis Enrique is not going near there. I mean, Man United, as a managerial step, is a burial ground.
Do you want to know what all I want from these owners? And we're going to come to these in a lot of detail in a minute, so stick around for that. Smash a like as well, by the way, and let us know in the comments what you think about this. But I want to talk about, we're going to lead into INEOS. The fact of Everton got Carlo Ancelotti, right? Okay, it's an incident, it's a moment in time, it's a different club, different coach. I bet you any money, if Manchester United's hierarchy was in charge of Everton at that time, they wouldn't have even picked up the phone. They would have just gone, we're little old Everton, forget it. We're Man United, and we don't even pitch that high. Everton got Ancelotti. So for anybody that thinks, oh, no, I want them to be asking the question at least, what's it going to take? 30 million. Is it going to take 30 million? Well, how much has Ten Hag and Amorim cost us in compensation, Christian? Because we paid them both off about 10, 12 mil, and we had to pay, was it 12 mil for Amorim mid-season to Sporting?
Yeah.
So no, I'm not just talking about Enrique, I'm talking about the best manager available. right now. Okay, Enrique's a shot in the dark, 1 in a million chance. But are you asking the question of these coaches? Are you going to them and going, you know what? You've won the treble at PSG. Look, you probably don't fancy it, but what would it take? 300 grand a week will make you the highest paid coach on earth. Could we twist your arm? United, INEOS don't do that, and Woodward didn't do that. What it is at United is we can get the fans on board. We can beat the media off, because you know right now Gary Neville ain't loading in on Carrick after Sky. You know what's going to be now, Christian. It's going to be the players. Now it's the players' turn. The same thing with Ranić's going to happen now. It's going to be new managers come in. These players are selling another coach, and that's what it's going to be now, because Amorim's big bad 3-4-3's gone. You got a flavour of it yesterday, which we'll touch on in a minute, with Fletcher playing a 4-2-3-1, and it was shit. And this is the thing that's going to happen now. INEOS have played it perfectly, because now everybody's going to come to the players, because they're going to be a 4 at the back. You're going to have Mainu playing, and we're probably still going to be shit. Christian, I'm worried we might be shitter. So INEOS have played an absolute blinder here. They're lapping it up. They'll be chuffed with this top Reds going on to the derby on Saturday. They'll be with character. They'll be absolutely chuffed with this.
Yeah, of course they will. I mean, it's like give the idiots what they want sort of vibe, and they've obviously gone in that direction.
Don't need to invest in Jam.
You are so, yeah, exactly. You're so right in what you said, by the way. The United pundits en masse now will not come for this guy. We've seen this before. We know the playbook. So now he's going to be immune to criticism, and it's going to be the players have got bad attitudes, the players just simply aren't good enough for the club. And it's like, I can understand, when Amorim had his little hit out at Neville, because none of these guys are consistent, and nobody should listen to him. Because if they're going to come with the same energy for Amorim, but which, by the way, he did deserve his fair amount of criticism, but you've got to be consistent. Don't just because your mate's going getting the job, don't start changing your tune and not giving him any shit.
Well, that's it. And to be honest, if you get into the fine details of things, I've been really disappointed with Fletcher. Anyway, Fletcher's a under-18s coach, but stuff like starting Mount on the right wing, the Mainu, Bruno, Ugarte midfield, we're going to see that get decimated. It's almost as if we saw that under Ten Hag. Those three are not going to work. It isn't going to... The thing with this is now, I'm actually looking at it, and I've been banging the drum, and I sent a message to David today about it, and it's like, everyone's going to get their wish now. The 3 at the back's going to go, and you're going to be watching these defenders going, we should play 3 at the back, because we haven't got 2 centre-backs that actually make up anything that's solid. But before we come to the players, let's just continue with INEOS at the moment, because this is a real issue with them now that they've got, that they've just binned another season. INEOS have been here 2 years now. They've binned both seasons. Now they're going to say, well, we attempted to salvage the first season, but you didn't salvage the first season. You went and got a coach mid-season that plays a different system to the one that you've sacked. It got worse. It was always going to get worse. Even Amorim said that himself. Don't get me mid-season. This will not work. What did they do? No, we're going to get him. We're going to get top 4. Didn't work. Then you don't sack Amorim when you probably should after Spurs. Then you run it back and you end up in another hole. The same they did with Ten Hag. Should have sacked Ten Hag after the FA Cup final. Didn't. End up in a hole. Should have sacked Amorim after the Europa League final. Didn't. In a hole. Another season in the bin. Because look, I feel for Carrick in a way of, this smells like Ranić to me now. I might even go Lampard 2.0 at Chelsea, where they ended up 12th. This feels now, we know Carrick's going. Carrick's come out and said it himself, where Ollie apparently wanted to potentially get the full-time job again. Carrick has come out and said, I'm happy to be here till the summer, lads. I want it as to potentially build myself up to get the Palace job or the Fulham job. To
get another big championship job. So, the joke is, Carrick will do that and move on and probably go to happier things.
So what's going to happen now? These players are sat there watching it. These players who have got history. And I know people are going to go, well, it's new players. But it only takes one rotten apple to spoil this dressing room. And some of these lads have been there under the Ollie. Some of these lads were there when Ranić was here.
Spoil what, Alex? What are they spoiling?
So well, what I'm thinking now is I can see the attitude, which hasn't been an issue under Amorim. There's been other issues. I don't think they've down tools at all. I can smell a down tool job coming because Carrick's going in the summer. It's going to be Ranić 2.0, I think, and I don't think we're going to...
What I was just going to say, Alex, and you sort of touched on it, and there's a knock-on effect from INEOS's decisions and their in-season decisions as well. So obviously, Amorim goes now, and you've got Carrick. He's already saying, I didn't even know this, by the way, but Carrick is coming in and he's saying, no, categorically, I'll be moving on at the end of the season. Like you said, that brings question marks in terms of the players' dedication to this, the rest of the season. We know you're at the FA Cup and pretty much it's done anyway.
Yeah.
But then it also begs for, when you go and get in the permanent manager, Alex, in the summer, you know exactly what's going to happen. It leads to more, well, it's another transition. You got to remember, we were playing we were playing this system and now we're going back to 4. We're now going to be playing 4-2-3-1. So we've got to learn that. We've got to do another year. And it's like, this is just going on and on.
It's shambolic.
And there's no end to this cycle.
Let's just call a spade a spade. INEOS have ran this club worse than Woodward and the Glazers. As far as decision making, before people come for me with the finances, okay, yes, the Glazers have sucked money out the club. Let's just say Woodward. Let's just say Ed Woodward, right? Let's not get into Glazer and Ratcliffe, right? Let's just go Ed Woodward versus Wilcox Barada, and you had him for a bit Ashworth, didn't you? He got sacked, but he's part of the iffy decision making from Ratcliffe's team. We were better ran under Ed Woodward than we are INEOS. INEOS have been 2 seasons out of 2, mate. They've sacked 2 managers that they kept longer than they should. Let's not talk about what about the signings, INEOS? They're not getting away without the signings. They sold McTominay for Ugarte. Ugarte is probably the worst midfielder on the ball in the league, I'd say. I think that's
little
fair.
Pass the other day.
That volley, yeah. They signed Lenny Yoro, who had 12 months of French football under his belt, for £60 million. And then, look, I don't really rate Yoro that highly. Again, unpopular and shock with the United fans. But at the end of the day, the poor kid's been thrust into a 3-4-3 with fucking Amorim for 18 months. Now he's going to be in a back 2 with fucking Martinez. And the thing is, yesterday, Christian, I sent you the screenshot of the goal with Dorgu, Martinez and Yoro in a staggered zigzag shape for the Welbeck goal, because Lisandro Martinez has spent the last few months being told to jump out from a back 3 and win the ball back and be aggressive, right? We saw this in the derby when Luke Shaw did it, got done by Doku and City scored from it, and I had an issue with this. But this was what Amorim wanted. He wanted a back 3 and he wanted Yoro and Shaw to jump and be aggressive, right? Yeah. Because you've got 2 midfielders who can't really run. Now, what are you telling me these guys are going to be jumping out of a back 2? Because Martinez was not in position yesterday for that goal. Go and check it. And they scored off it. And Lenny Yoro's body shape's all wrong. Look, Yoro does lack fundamentals, I appreciate. But the point I'm making here is these guys have been coached 3-4-3 till the cows come home. And now it's like, forget that, you're in a back 2 again. Oh, you say again. I mean, Lenny Yoro's probably spent more time in a 3-4-3 than he has a 4.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, look, I would be going at INEOS as well for other things. I just think it's a clear lack of ambition. I understand where you're coming from, and obviously I watched all of the stream with you and David and Dan as well. Shout out, it was a good stream, boys. But I get why you're holding them accountable and you want to go for bigger names, because from your point of view, especially your age range, you're all looking at this simply saying, we are Man United, we should be going for, the cream of the crop.
Okay, let me ask you this.
There is a complete lack of ambition or ideas in which way to run the club. They do not care.
Let me ask you this. Why are Manchester United not going getting the best available manager right now, even if it's for 6 months? Why is it... Right, let's just go with...
Alex, because they can get away with it. Because your fans are one of the most easily manipulated fan bases. I mean, you think you've gone down this formula before, Alex, having a player that's played for you, it didn't work.
Yeah.
Now, not only, Alex, are you going for the same formula, you very nearly got the same guy back. Now, if that is not telling you that they do not give a shit and they also have confidence in how easily it is to manipulate the entire fan base, it's a disrespect. But to be honest, Alex, I think the fan base deserve it because they fucking accept it. Not David, but others.
It goes back to, obviously, this is the signing the best available manager you can, right? And Everton did this with Carlo Ancelotti. They got number 1, right? This is Everton, little old Everton. And guess what? They also got James Rodriguez. And guess what? They were in the top 4 at Christmas. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin was one of the top strikers in the league. So don't tell me that we need to pitch as low as like these championship managers and the failed Besiktas coach. Because I'm not even talking about you Luis Enrique's of the world. You tell me why Manchester United are not going getting Enzo Maresca right now. Why are they not knocking his door down? Why are they not going to Xabi Alonso? What about Marco Rose, the ex-Leipzig manager? What about Thiago Motta, the Juve manager? Are they better than Michael Carrick and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Yes, They are. Why are we being held to this mediocrity? Because INEOS can go, vibes, United DNA. Well, Darren Fletcher knows the United DNA, and we got decimated yesterday. So,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what, is Carrick going to bring the DNA as well? Because if it looks like yesterday, we'll be holding 4 at the weekend to City, we'll be holding 5 to Arsenal. So I don't want United DNA, I want the best coach available. Is Enzo Maresca better than Carrick? Just anybody watching this who thinks they're lapping this up, they're going to be singing Carrick's name on Saturday, you answer me this question. Is Enzo Maresca a better coach than Michael Carrick? The answer is yes. Why are we not going to Maresca right now? If he says no, Christian, fine. If Xabi Alonso says no, if Marco Rose says no, if Thiago Motta says no, if Xavi says no, I will accept. But they aren't even asking the question. They're doing an interview process with a failed Besiktas coach and a failed Middlesbrough coach because they know the United DNA. It's absolute bollocks. And the fan base are lapping this up.
Yeah, it's a fail-safe, isn't it? And it's the easy way out. That's why they're doing it. They know they can get away with it, and they will continue to do it. The thing is, obviously, they would argue back, and they would say they don't really know what direction they want to go in, which is clear. But then that's even more worrying. You fired this guy, and I heard some comments from Rio. Do you know what? An odd time, a rare W from Goldbridge, to be honest, and he was calling out Rio Ferdinand and saying, Ferdinand had been saying Jason Wilcox is a good guy, and because he'd been backing him, saying he's doing his best for the club, and Goldbridge was like, well, at the end of the day, he is on the United payroll. He's saying what he needs to say to keep his jobs open. But I do not understand in terms of these people you've had in the past, how you keep revisiting and not learning from it. I don't get it. I mean,
it's been in the season, Christian. It's been in the season to a degree that we've never had before because Jose left a good squad, right? When Ollie came in, it wasn't Ollie's genius that got that 10 out of 12 win run, by the way. Was it? Do you remember the team, Chris? You will remember the team, right? Everyone watching this, little refresher, you had Pogba, Matic, Herrera, midfield 3.
Yeah.
You had a front 3 of Rashford, Martial, and one more. Am I missing someone? Who else did he have? Lukaku. 20 goal a season, Lukaku. Sanchez.
Yeah.
And who was at the back? We had a decent defence under Jose. It was like the second best in the league. So, and De Gea. So Ollie walked into a squad that was mint. This squad ain't mint. We saw it yesterday in their little 4-2-3-1.
I mean, Alex, just to touch on that performance was shocking. I mean, looking at that, you didn't. I text you after it. You didn't really want to talk that much. You were that pissed off, and I got it, to be honest. It was lacklustre. You deserve to lose. You probably deserve to lose by more. United players at times looked bereft of ideas. They looked kind of happy to limp out. I don't understand, in terms of this club and what you were built on, watching Man United now are unrecognisable. They really are. I don't think the players... Look, you could... Alex, here's the other argument. You could go and get Enrique. You could go and get whoever. Yeah. Do you think me as a City fan is sat here bothered?
No.
No, I'm not. Because I think the United players are dog shit. I think, really, where they are in the league is where they should be. To be honest, I think where they currently are in the league, I think they should be below it.
No,
if I'm being totally honest.
Just tell me what you think about the team. And yesterday had it reminded me of Ten Hag. Couldn't get a kick in midfield, getting ran through. Mainu comes back in. Ugarte can't play. We have deficiencies in that area of the pitch. We'll come to the defence because Fletcher's let 4 in 2 games, which is your 60-goal pace that we've been on under Amorim, so that's not going to get any better. But let's just talk about the midfield because obviously the back end of the Ten Hag era was the midfield wide open, getting decimated. Kobbie Mainoo, everybody wants Mainoo to come in. Mainoo comes in with Bruno and one of Ugarte and Casemiro. We've seen this before, Christian. That midfield 3 does not work right. Mainoo's a 4-3-3 midfielder. Mainoo cannot play in a 2. Hasn't got the athleticism. And the problem is, Ugarte and Casemiro aren't good enough on the ball, so Mainoo's asked more of. What I'm saying is, if Mainoo was next to a Tielemans, the running capacity would need it to be less. The problem is, you've got Mainoo next to 2 players who can't really pass. Some games, Casemiro's as bad as Ugarte. Yeah. Ugarte is terrible. So Mainoo's expected to cover more ground because we're losing the ball more with Ugarte. And Bruno is now back in his number 10 position, which is great. I'm happy for Bruno. But the point is, this midfield 3 is not going to work right, Christian. You tell me how this is going to look between now and the end of the season with a substandard coach in Carrick. How is he going to get this midfield 3 to work? because we saw it with Ten Hag. United did not upgrade the midfield between Ten Hag and Amorim. We are now back to what we saw with Amorim. Ten Hag. Do you get my point with this midfield? What do you think? How do you look at this midfield and think, Carrick's going to come in and do this? How is it not going to look like what Ten Hag did? It's attributes. It's player attributes.
This is the thing, right? Where, a quick answer to your question, Alex. It isn't going to get any better, is it? For the reasons that we saw yesterday, it doesn't matter who's going to come in. It really does not matter. The personnel is shite. They don't work in any system, really. They're not good players. Yeah. So if you go away from this, and you go through this season with Carrick, and he pretty much keeps you on pace for what you were doing anyway, I don't really see the point. Did Amorim deserve to be sacked? Absolutely, he did. But if you didn't have a clear plan in place and something going forward, you shouldn't have sacked him, because that just leans more to INEOS's stupidity, lack of preparation, and just clear lack of IQ. They've no idea in which way they want to go. So if they were getting rid of him, Alex, was there not conversations of, right, where are we going? And I'm being serious, Alex. If there was conversations, and the answer to them conversations was Ollie and Michael Carrick, then you'd be even more concerned.
Yeah. No, totally. I mean, just on the fit of this, we're going to go 4 at the back, and it's going to look like what we had, right? Can you talk to me about what Carrick can do to influence something better than what we've seen between Ten Hag and Amorim? Because when you play 3 at the back, this is going to be the most full circle stupid narrative I've ever said on this show. When you play 3 at the back, is because you haven't got 2 defenders that work in a 2. So this is like your Southgate, Stones, Maguire, Kyle Walker argument, where Southgate was like, I don't fully fancy Maguire and Stones on their own. With Walker, I've got a solid 3. This is Amorim. Amorim, to a degree, can fall back on this. Look, they were confused. They didn't know how to play the 3-4-3. But Amorim can sit there and go, I never fancied 2 of them in a 2, right? Now, De Ligt's injured. We don't know where De Ligt is. He's been gone now 6-7 weeks. Let's forget De Ligt for now. Yeah. What combination of 2 is Carrick going to throw out that's going to actually make us a reasonable defence? I think we're one of the worst defences in the league right now. Can you tell me what Carrick's going to do? Is he going to play Yoro and Martinez? Is he going to play Maguire and Martinez?
Alex, I think Maguire, Martinez. I think as a going forward, I think that's what he will probably lean to. Alex, look, it's one of them. You match 2, and you're going to go, well, they're shit.
Christian,
you pull someone in.
They played the Brentford 4-0 at half-time game in 2022 was Maguire and Martinez. And I know United love, let's run it back. Yeah. That was 4 years ago. We are 4-0 down to Brentford at half-time. And now, you're right, by the way. You are right. You cannot play Yoro and Heaven in a back 2. Forget it.
Yeah.
So if De Ligt's gone, it's Maguire and Martinez. We saw this 4 years ago. But we had Varane to come in and rescue things when he was fit. What are we doing?
Here's the thing. So you touching on that, and it's interesting. Obviously, I didn't realise that. And when you think of what the players you had and the players you've moved on, for reasons that you were all told they were either bad attitude or not good enough to play for the club, both of which were sometimes true. I'm not going to argue with that. But Alex, INEOS have brought this new breed in, and I think you're in a worse position. I think you're in need of a bigger clear out than you were previously. Because you look at the dead wood they've got. I mean, they're doing it. They're replacing dead wood with dead wood. They went and signed Højlund. They then went and got Sesko. Okay, all right, he's had a couple of good games. Yeah. But does any Man United fan really think that Benjamin Sesko was worth the money you paid?
Cunha doesn't have a position. Ahmad now doesn't have a position. Yeah. You're right.
Well, Alex, I did call this as well. Yeah. And I said this was always going to be dangerous. Going with these signings when you wanted to go and sign Mbumo and you had Ahmad. I didn't think that Amorim was going to last on the back of last season. And then you were pumping money into a system that I thought is going to get scrapped very likely.
Yeah.
and then you're left with one of your better players who definitely should be starting when you've got fucking Ugarte getting minutes. You're gonna have someone decent actually sat on the bench. Alex, you cannot afford that luxury right now.
Christian, Diallo has to play. He has to play in this team because he can receive the ball and keep it. And that's the bar where we're at right now. Because what's going to happen is, can I just tell you what I'd do, right? If I was Carrick, and this is sort of linked to, yes, it's going to sort of go back on what I've just said, because Diallo, okay, look, this is like probably going to sound like FIFA, but this is what I'd do if I was Carrick, because you cannot, obviously, he ain't going to go 3-4-3. He cannot do the Ten Hag thing. Fletcher gave you a flavour of how that midfield's going to look, and also the defence needs protection, right? So not only is the midfield we saw yesterday dysfunctional and going to get diced through by your Brightons of the world, God forbid your City and your Arsenals, it's also going to expose the defence that can't defend, right? So this is what Carrick needs to do. He needs to play a midfield three, a flat three, of Casemiro sitting and Ugarte and Mainu as the 2 8s, people like to call it. You then need to play Bruno as a 10 behind a front 2 of Cunha and Mbumo, and Ahmad can come on for Mainu if we need it, in what I would hope he could somehow do that interior role as like a Bernardo Silva type player. What do you think of that as a, let's get some stability in centre mid? We have no wingers other than Diallo. So we've got to get a midfield 3 that can hold the game together. And that's my only thing I can think of is Manchester United go, look, we've gone away from wingers, Christian. We invested in a coach that don't play them. Let's double down now and play split strikers with Cunha and Mbumo, Bruno as a 10 and a midfield 3 that's got, it's a flat 3 in front of that shit defence. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think, look, if you're looking at different things to do, it's probably one of the better ideas. The only concern is then you're seeing Ugarte get a lot of minutes. I know what you're saying in theory.
Yeah.
You are going to have a much more stable midfield, but Alex, some of these guys can't pass the ball.
No.
And let's be fair. Let's be fair, Alex.
Yeah.
When we have seen Mainu, I'll be honest, right? You know me, bro. I'm a really big fan of this lad, and I do think he can go on to big things. Yeah. But he has got to pick his form up because he hasn't looked good for a long time. Yeah. Even when he has had cameos, he has not been up to it. I don't know what the problem is. We can obviously lean to he has been playing in a position and being asked things of maybe his lesser attributes, which you were mentioning before, things that he's having to lean on more to bail out the guys next to him, which doesn't suit him and doesn't help him.
No, to your point though, if you put Pedri in a midfield too, that's not great utilisation of Pedri's ability, but Pedri doesn't look out of his depth the way Mainu has and is at the moment, and I think that's the problem where Pedri might chase shadows a little bit, but this is the problem. Pedri's not next to Ugarte, so I am trying to hold back here on the Mainu because I know how poor Ugarte is, and I think let's use Pedri as a perfect example of Pedri's a 4-3-3 midfielder, Andres Iniesta, Xavi, these types of players. If you put them with a Ugarte, what do they look like? It's quite... Look, I'm sure Iniesta would look amazing, right? I think he's one of the best players to ever play the game. But at the same time, how much ball chasing is Iniesta doing next to Ugarte?
Yeah, look, there is clear fundamentals that aren't going to work. Like I said, Ugarte, for me, is terrible. He cannot pass the ball. This guy does not belong in the Premier League at this level.
But I don't want to make excuses either. You are right.
Whoever you put next to him, they're already up against it. They're playing with a minus. So you've got to look at this on how can you make the best out of a bad situation. Having Casemiro in there, he's like one of them players where one in every 3 games, he sort of rolls back the ears and he's like, fucking hell, he looks good today. But then the other 2 games, he's Casemiro that's aging past it and his legs are gone. You know what I mean? And that's nothing on him. It's just where he's at. But with what you're saying, I probably wouldn't argue too much against that for where United are at and just to get to the end of the season. But Alex, what are your realistic hopes? Look, we see you crash out yesterday. The players, Bruno Fernandes in particular, looked a bit lost for the first time, probably reconsidering his life choices and thinking, I wish I'd just fucked off when I had the chance and took the payday.
Well, he definitely.
What do you hope for the rest of this season?
I really just think that I think for this is somebody that wanted Amorim to change system, and I want to hold my hands up a little bit here, and I know, look, it's small sample size. Darren Fletcher's an under-18s coach. Is it possible Carrick could get a bit of a better setup than Fletcher? I assume yes, you'd have to say so. Fletcher's never coached at the first team level, so Carrick has got that in his arsenal where he has coached Middlesbrough, right? But the thing that I'm seeing yesterday is I'm looking at the two centre backs and I'm looking at the midfield. You'd have to say midfield 2 still because Bruno is now at 10. I'm looking at it and I'm going, this is dysfunctional again. It's the same issues we've had. Going 4-2-3-1, in my opinion, puts players in their positions, but it also exposes weaknesses that we have in the team still. You can't put them in a 4-2-3-1 and Lenny Oro's going to turn into a great centre-back. You can't put... Lisandro Martinez is probably better suited to...
Yeah, so you're limiting your expectations straight away.
Look, I see Rangnick. I see we might win the odd game, and I think it's gonna get ugly for Carrick, and I feel for the bloke because you're right. Luis Enrique could come in, like you said. Luis Enrique can't put his boots on himself and play centre mid. So what Christian? You tell me. You've got 3 midfielders at the club, and a number 10 in Fernandes. What do you do with them for? I gave you what I would potentially try, but it's me in my FIFA mode.
Yeah, Alex, look, I know this is imbalanced, right? And a lot of people could disagree with me, fair enough. But like I said, there's a caveat because I don't think anything works. But what I would go with, look, Bruno has been playing deeper. You can get good games out of Bruno in a deeper role. And I do think if he's in a midfield 3, that certainly helps. Especially with Mainu as part of the 3. I would go Mainu, I'd go Bruno, and I'd go Casemiro. I think that's your only option, personally. I wouldn't be touching Ugarte with a barge pole. I would keep him as far away as possible. I know that then takes away, people will say that takes away Bruno as the 10, but Bruno hasn't been a 10 for a long time now with Amorim in charge. And I do think you can get something out of him there with the players I've said next to him.
Fair enough. No, I don't mind that. But it is. I just think it's going to be 4-2-3-1 again. And Bruno, we know Bruno's a 10. He's going to be almost a second striker. So you go into midfield 2 that everyone's been kicking off about for ages. The only difference is, Christian, you've not got 3 centre backs behind them because we're not playing 3-4-3 anymore. Amorim had a back 3 behind the weak midfield of Bruno and Cass. Now you saw it yesterday. Ugarte, Mainu getting diced through. You've got Yoro and Martinez who are all at sea. Sorry, what is Saturday going to be? I mean, that's a conversation later this week where we're going to preview the derby and obviously do a watch along. But
Alex, seriously, do you not think, right? So if you were to play a 4-3-3, and you were to do what I said with the midfield 3, so you're dropping Bruno back into that more central role, and then you're going with a front 3 of Mbuemo, Cunha through the middle, drop Sesko, and play Ahmad on the other side. Now, do you not think that gives you a little bit more in terms of control of games? Because you've got 2 players who are very good on the ball in Bruno and Cunha and play like a false 9 kind of system.
Yeah. No, for some reason, we've never got Bruno into... He's played as an 8 in Amorim's system, and I actually think he's done better than I expected. I said to you in the summer, Bruno and Casemiro will be shocking. I think Bruno's had a sneaky good season. Not sneaky, I mean, the guy's still creating. He's still got his numbers. 100%. And I don't think the midfield's been the problem, honestly. I mean, look, it's not perfect. We know that. But Bruno and Cass hasn't been as bad as what I said to you in July. So, for whatever reason is when we go away from the 3-4-3, Bruno becomes a 10. Like you said, he never plays as an 8 in a 3. And that's the problem. I agree with you, Christine, but look, Carrick, man, I'm just really praying you're one of the smartest guys. You know, you're a very underrated footballer. Please look at this midfield and try and find something for us. If it's what you said, what I said, find something for us. Even if it's going shit, play Ahmad in there with in a 3. Like I said about Bernardo Silva, similar play stats, good work rate. You know, is it that mental to go? Let's get another guy. Ahmad can take the ball under pressure. Is it that insane to say, let's play Ahmad in a midfield 3? Please just try things. If we're getting decimated with a 4-2-3-1, don't just play that till June, man. I can't do that.
Well, so look, Christian, risk, I mean, this is the risk when you're bringing in someone like this. I just wanted to ask you this, bro, because look, we touched on it a little bit before, and obviously you did that full stream with David, and you were talking about who you would have in. Obviously, I know there was some big names getting mentioned. Now, I just wanted to ask you honestly, where you think Man United are at. I understood your points of why you guys would be pitching high, which you have every right to. However, honestly, your opinion here, mate, do you think United is the attraction it once was? In terms of these top managers, do you think they are really looking at it? We just saw Semenyo. Yeah. United wants Semenyo. He picks City. That's painful for Man United. Do you think top managers are now thinking, yes, I will jump if Man United approach me? Realistically, just to balance this argument.
The answer to the question is, honestly, I don't know, because we've gone for such mediocre potential merchants for so long. Well, look at our history. Carrick today. Ruben Amorim. Eric Ten Hag.
Yeah.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And Ralph Rangnick in between. You tell me which one of them is like best in class. Any of them. You might even say Rangnick might have had the best reputation out of all of them. Maybe Ten Hag after that Ajax run. That's it. We've not gone for even anybody in the Ancelotti category. Like, forget Enrique. We've not gone for the... So you've got the god tier of managers, right? Then you've probably got, like, say, A tier, B tier, C tier. We've not been shopping in the A. Never mind the god tier. No. So I don't even know. I want them to be asking...
The last time you were going down...
Yeah, Jose Van Gaal.
But like David mentioned, Mourinho was obviously over the hill when you got in.
Yeah. Look, right, I don't know is the answer. I want them to ask the fucking question, though, because money talks, and we pay, how much money do we pay on 75 million Højlund, 90 Anthony? Mason Mount's on 200 grand a week, Christian. Can we package up something that just blows the socks off one of these top managers? A bit of a money mercenary. Christian, forget money mercenaries. I'm not talking about turning heads. Xavi is available right now. He has not got a job. Enzo Maresca is available right now. Xabi Alonso is right. Manchester United right now. Alonso's been sacked today. They should speak to Carrick's agent and go, thanks, Michael. We're going to put this on hold now. We're going to contact Xabi Alonso tonight. And we're going to offer him 270 grand a week till the summer and see what he says. And if he says no, the job's yours. United won't even think about that. The Alonso news won't even have changed their opinion.
I massively agree with. And you would have a shot at getting someone like that because currently they're in a bit of a difficult spot in their own career. And it could make sense. You know, Xabi Alonso was one of the most touted... Well, Real Madrid, he had the pick of everyone, didn't he? There was rumours of going to Liverpool. If he really wanted that, I'm sure he could really have got it.
Why are they so obsessed with this interim 6 months shit? Because, sorry, am I missing something? Is somebody available in July that I'm missing? Because who's not available that you think you can get
Alex,
in July?
I'll answer that, Alex, because clubs now are run with this bullshit project phrasing, and that's all we hear about. And I think they put too much thought into it. So you're simple with this, and you're going, why don't we get the best that we possibly could? Go and give it Xabi Alonso. If he's shit for 6 months, we move on. It was 200 grand a week. Like you said, Alex, you're paying that to Mason Mount, who we know is awful. So it does make sense, but that's not how they look at it. They draw this situation out. They go, what's the 5-year plan? It doesn't matter what the 5-year plan is.
They haven't got a 5-month
because United are in the dungeons.
But yeah, no, I totally agree with you. By the way, I think just on the situation with why they're going interim and not permanent right now. Like I said, Christian, you tell me, what is the conversations in that boardroom in the last week? By the way, they sack Amorim knowing this FA Cup game is United's season, unless these idiots seriously think that Champions League qualification is on the cards. Yeah. And they allow an under-18s coach to take the biggest game of the season. Why did you not just get Carrick in? Why did you not sack Amorim? You've had... How many days did they have? They had 6 days to appoint someone ahead of that Brighton game, and they've still not officially appointed anyone now. That alone has pissed me off.
What I was saying before.
But you tell me what's going on in that boardroom. Right, let's get Carrick in, right? Well, you tell me why we get... So I assume Maresca, Xabi Alonso, Thiago Motta, Marco Rose, those guys are not. They're all jobless right now, Christian. You tell me Well, which name am I missing then? Which name are you getting in June when Carrick fucks off? Who are you going getting that isn't available now? Because you're saying, forget, you can fucking forget Enrique, you can forget Unai Emery, you can forget these coaches. So who is it then? Who are we missing? Because
it only makes sense if you go on World Cup wise. So if you go in for Tuchel or you go in for Ancelotti, which I don't really see either. Therefore, what you're saying makes perfect sense. It was a lack of preparation. They rushed into this. Now you're out the FA Cup. Your season is absolutely finished. No one thought that Amorim... Well, there was a few, to be fair, but a lot of United fans thought Amorim should have gone. They weren't disagreeing with the decision. But the way it was done, Alex, instills more of a lack of confidence in your ownership and the way you are led. It is terrible. There is no thought process with Manchester United. Like I said, I cannot get over the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I do not understand how you could go back to Solskjaer after the way it ended. How the hell is that guy in the running? Carrick, listen, Carrick should not be in the running. He was sat by Middlesbrough. That's ridiculous. However, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, that is madness. Nobody could tell me that he's not insane.
It's vibes FC, it's work experience FC. I don't know about you, but I don't remember being as a kid if my dad got sacked that they went, oh, fucking it, bring his son along to do his job. It's just bollocks. Yeah. What even are we? Oh, he played under Fergie. I'm sorry, but Fergie's the first domino that fell in all of this shitty, mediocre crap with the Moyes appointment. So I'm not being funny. The day Fergie appointed Moyes was the day in the wrong direction for this club, and we've never recovered. You could argue Jose and Louis, but like you said, probably both past their best. We've never got the best manager in the world, ever, since Fergie. We were the best club in the world. Now we are not. We're nowhere near it. We're mediocre dross, man. And I can't wait to see these idiots go for somebody that's available now. I bet you any money they go for somebody that's available right now. INEOS. They've just not got the capability to do it right now. And what's going to happen is Carrick's going to do shit. We're going to write the season off, and then they're going to go for a Xavi in the summer. And everybody needs to protest outside Old Trafford because they've been doing it for long enough at the Glazers. I'm sorry, these guys. When are these guys going to be held accountable? Fuck the Glazers, man. Where's the INEOS protest?
Alex, I tell you what I can see. I'll call it right here. I reckon Enzo. I reckon it'll be Enzo Maresca. And I reckon it'll be in the summer because I think Maresca is under the illusion he's getting the City job, and I don't think he will. I think Pep's pissed off with all this news getting out. No, I know. I do agree with you, but I think Maresca is probably holding out for the City job. I don't think he's going to get it, and I think United will go. This is the thing. I do agree with you. United don't ask the questions. United just take this coward's way out to limp to the end of the season and want the fans to just accept it. But somehow the fans do accept it because they know the ultimate fail-safe, Alex. If they go and risk it and go and give it a Southgate, right? So people were laughing at me that I said Southgate, fair enough. But you're not in that much uproar. There'd be more uproar if you went and got Southgate, who is 100% more qualified than Michael Carrick.
Yeah.
Now, there is something fundamentally wrong with your fan base, bro. Because I guarantee you, I would see more uproar if Gareth Southgate was given it for 6 months, who, to be fair, I'm telling you right now, will do a better job than Michael Carrick. I do not need to see him. He got sacked by a championship club. Borough sacked him, they're doing better. Something's not right.
You're right. I mean, there's parallels there, isn't there? Because Borough was Southgate's team before. Obviously, you're referencing the England success that Southgate had. Look, Christian, this is mental to me, and I'm fed up. I'm actually angry about this. You have the glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel. You sack the big bad shit system. You bring the 4-2-3-1 in. It's took 2 games for me to look at and go, oh my god. We've seen this before, maybe naive of myself, maybe Amorim pushed me into a corner so much, I forgot how bad Ten Hag was, which was impressive on him. Shout out you, Ruben. But now, we're fully back there now. We're back with the dysfunctional midfield, a back two that we can't pull any back two together. I'm really just 18 games left. They've binned it, brilliant. And look, you never know. You could have got Maresca in, and Maresca. You know, it is the concept that I don't get about United fans, right? Why is this concept of hire a manager, if he does shit, sack him, get another manager in, sack him if he's not good? Why is it with United where it's like they've got a picture of Fergie on the wall and it's like, let's try and get the next 27-year man like Fergie. Forget it. Get Maresca in now. And you know what, Christian? If Maresca's shit by December, get rid of him and we get someone else in. Why is this concept missing with Manchester United fans? Why is it always like, we can't keep sacking managers. No. We can keep sacking managers if they're shit. And post-Fergie, they've all pretty much ended badly. So I don't understand this concept of like, oh no, he's a short-term guy. I don't care. Is he good? Is he a good coach?
No, Alex, do you know what? You're so right. You've touched on something there, because you think of how rare it is to have a manager that's that long-standing, i.e. Pep Guardiola or Fergie. And that's pretty much it. The list doesn't really go. You'd say Wenger, but in the latter years of Wenger, they wanted him out.
Klopp,
you know what I mean?
to a
That
degree,
went on too long. If you look now and you look at the model of success, taking out Fergie and Pep, who are in a different category, they're the Leo Messi and the Ronaldo of the managers. Just leave them in their own category. You take out other clubs and how they've been successful. It's Real Madrid, Chelsea. Okay, now what do? They are ruthless, but they win a lot of trophies. So you can't tell me that you're going to criticise the way they run their club, but ultimately it gets trophies. And you're pissed off and you keep wanting to find this gem. Well, maybe they're just not there anymore.
It's funny you say, isn't it? You mentioned Real Madrid and Chelsea there. They won Champions Leagues with an interim, didn't they? Zidane, first road down, Zidane came in for Rafa Benitez, did he?
Yeah, who was the other one? Who was the other one?
Not and Di Matteo was at Chelsea, who was interim. But it's funny, isn't it, where two teams, I think it was Benitez that got potted for Zidane at Real, and wow, I'm struggling here. Maybe someone in the comments can help me. Whoever Di Matteo came in for, Di Matteo somehow won it. But that just shows you that the season, you sack, you get coach, win trophy. If he starts doing shit, you sack him as well. The concept of it, Manchester United, look, the fans are clueless, mate. Look, 45 minutes, INEOS out, by the way. Fuck them. Get your protests on them, because they are absolutely shit. What, they've put a bit of money in? That doesn't excuse making all these wrong decisions. What, you give Ed Woodward and under the Ed Woodward reign, we won trophies and we came second a few times.
But you actually had some good players.
And we had some I tell you what, I'd be much better if we were lining up with like Pogba, Cristiano, Matic, Varane, De Gea.
100%.
I mean, that was quite fun, right? What than this fucking shit? Mate, honestly. Let us know in the comments what you think about this abomination of a club and where the hell we are going. Another season in the bin, 2 out of 2. Maybe they can make it 3 out of 3 in the summer, Christian, with a shit appointment. I'm here for it. And this is what INEOS, they're taking us down, mate. And I tell you what, if they fuck up the Bruno Fernandes replacement, which they might be faced with in 6 months, there's no saying that we won't be in a relegation fight, because they're fucking horrendous, these owners, and they're taking us one way. Yeah. And this is going bad this season. This will be Ranić. This will be Lampard 2.0. Book it. Thank you, Christian, for joining us, my friend.
Cheers,
and
mate.
We will see you later on this week for the Manchester Derby preview. I'm dreading it, to be honest.
Let's save it, bro.
You know, every year I go, I can't wait for the fucking Euros or World Cup. I am already there. Normally I get there about March. I'm already there. And to be honest, I haven't even got Southgate in his waistcoat. I've got fucking Tuchel, the German coach. Yeah. I'm not even overly buzzed with that anyway. Conversation for another day. Thank you for listening, everyone. Appreciate it. Let us know what you think in the comments on this latest turn of events at the circus that is Manchester United. Thank you all for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.